In the old days, there was a traveling fun fair that would set up shop in a new town every few months. They were known as the mayors because they traveled all around the country with their massive caravan of wagons filled with rides, games, and everything else needed to run the fair. And they did this for decades until one day they decided to stay in one place. They chose a place called Pleasantville and made it their permanent home. But it wasn't long before the townspeople started whispering about the mysterious nature of the fair. How was it that the rides never stopped? Why did the clowns never seem to get older? And what happened to all the people who won the games? Well, it turns out there's a lot more to the fair than meets the eye. A long time ago, when the mayors were just starting out, they weren't very successful. The owner, Oscar Mayer, was so desperate to make a profit that he sold his soul to the devil in exchange for eternal prosperity for his fair. The devil cursed the Ferris wheel so that no one could ever leave it once they boarded it. All the other rides were cursed as well, but not quite as severely. Their purpose was simply to keep people at the fair as long as possible, so that they would spend more money. The mayors became rich and famous, and after a while, everyone forgot about the curse. But it didn't go away. And now it's the 1970s and the whispers have started again. This time, a young girl named Susie decides she's going to find out the truth. She sneaks into the fairgrounds after dark and discovers a hidden entrance behind the Hall of Mirrors. It leads to a tunnel that goes under the river and into the woods. She follows it and comes across an old woman sitting on a log. The woman introduces herself as Hazel and tells Susie that she knows all about the fair and its dark secret. According to her, the only way to break the curse is to find the 3 magical keys that were stolen from the devil himself. With these keys, Susie can unlock the gates of hell and free everyone trapped at the fair. But Hazel is too old and weak to help her, so it's up to Susie to do it all on her own. She goes back to town and starts searching for clues. She visits the oldest person she can find and asks them if they remember anything unusual happening on the day the Ferris wheel was first built. They tell her that they do. A strange man dressed in all black showed up and demanded that the wheel be built exactly according to his specifications. He even brought his own workers to oversee the construction, and when it was finished, he offered to buy everyone a ride, but no one accepted except for the mayor's son. The next day, the boy's parents came looking for him, but the man in black told them he hadn't seen him since the night before. And that's when the rumors started circulating about the mysterious man in black. Some said he was the devil himself, while others claimed he was just a wealthy eccentric. But nobody knew his real name. Susie realizes that if she can find the man in black, he might know where the keys are. She goes to the town library and looks through old yearbooks until she finds someone who might be the boy who rode the Ferris wheel. His name was Thomas, and Susie learned that he now lived in a nursing home on the outskirts of town. When she visited him, Thomas didn't recognize her, but he did remember the night he rode the Ferris wheel. He told her that the man in black had promised him a chance to win a prize for his girlfriend, but then he vanished before he could do anything. The last thing Thomas remembered was the ground beneath him starting to shake violently, and then everything went black. It turned out that Thomas had been the first victim of the curse. He had spent the last 40 years trapped on the Ferris wheel, reliving the same night over and over again. Susie felt terrible for him, but she couldn't stay and chat. She had to keep moving if she wanted to find those keys. She thanked Thomas for his help and went to the Ferris wheel. Just as she was about to board it, an old man dressed in a suit appeared before her. He introduced himself as Mr. Williams, the manager of the fair, and warned her not to go on the wheel. It was too dangerous. No one was allowed to ride it anymore. He begged her to reconsider, but Susie refused. She had come too far to give up now. As she began making her way up the wheel, she heard a voice boom above her. "Hold it right there." She turned and saw the man in black standing before her. He looked exactly the same as he must have in the 1930s, and Susie could feel the evil radiating off of him. He told her that he'd been waiting for someone just like her, someone who wasn't afraid of him. Susie stood her ground. She wasn't scared of him. She wanted to know where the keys were. The man in black smiled. He liked this girl. He was impressed by her bravery. "Very well," he said. "I'll tell you where the keys are, but only if you promise to give me something in return." Susie hesitated. She knew she shouldn't trust him, but she needed those keys. "What do you want?" she asked. The man in black leaned closer. "Your soul," Susie gasped. Was she really willing to give up her soul to save all those people? She looked down at the townspeople gathered below the Ferris wheel. They were watching her, waiting for her to make a decision. Finally, she looked back at the man in black. "Deal," she said. And so Susie rode the Ferris wheel up to the highest point and dropped the keys into the box. She closed her eyes tight, but when she opened them again, she found herself in a dark and smoky place. The air smelled like sulfur, and the walls were lined with chains and shackles. Susie realized she was inside the gates of hell. She searched for an exit, but there didn't seem to be one. Then she heard a voice behind her say, "Looking for a way out." Susie turned and saw the devil standing before her. He was tall and muscular, with horns and a tail, and his eyes glowed red in the darkness. "You have something that belongs to me," Susie said. The devil smiled. "I see you read the contract." "Very well. What do you want in exchange?" "The souls of everyone trapped here," Susie replied. The devil laughed. "That's a bold request, but I think I can make a deal with you. If you can bring me the 3 keys from the Ferris wheel, I'll release everyone trapped there. But if you can't, then I get your soul and all the souls of the townspeople." Susie knew it was a risky plan, but she was willing to take the chance. She handed over the box and the devil opened it. His eyes widened in surprise. "You didn't?" Susie finished his sentence. "You said I could take something small." The devil reached out and grabbed her. "So it's decided then. You lose." Susie screamed as he pulled her toward him, but then the devil stopped. He looked down at the box in his hands and a smile spread across his face. "Oh, I think I just got lucky." As he disappeared, Susie found herself back at the Ferris wheel. The townspeople were staring at her, waiting for her to explain. Susie didn't know what to say. She had failed. Then suddenly, the Ferris wheel began to glow with a bright white light. Everyone shielded their eyes, and when they could see again, the Ferris wheel was gone. In its place was a beautiful park with lush green grass, towering trees, and sparkling fountains. The townspeople cheered and began running toward the park. Mr. Williams walked slowly toward. "Susie, what did you do?" he asked. "I broke the curse," Susie replied. "All those people are free." Mr. Williams smiled sadly. "No, child, you didn't." "Look again." Susie looked back at the park and gasped. There were only 2 people in it. It was empty. "Where did everyone go?" she whispered. Mr. Williams sighed. "They're still stuck here, child. But now there's hope that one day they'll be free." He explained that Susie had actually done what she set out to do. She had freed everyone from the curse, but only temporarily. The only way to break the curse for good was to bring all 3 keys back to the devil. But Susie had given away one of the keys when she made her deal with the man in black. Without all 3 keys, the curse will only be broken for a few hours every year, Mr. Williams said. But maybe that's enough. Maybe it gives the people of this town hope that one day they'll be free. Susie looked down at the box in her hands. It was empty. She had only one choice now. She had to find the missing key and return it to the devil. With any luck, she could break the curse for good. The townspeople were celebrating their newfound freedom, and Susie was determined not to ruin it for them. So she slipped away from the party and headed into the woods. She had a feeling that the key would lead her right back to the man in black. She found him sitting on the same log where Hazel had sat all those years ago. He looked up at her and smiled. "Looking for this?" Susie stared at the box in his hands. "How did you know I'd come back?" The man in black shrugged. "I had a feeling. You see, when you made your deal with me, you gave me much more than you realized. By giving me the box, you also gave me the power to sense when it was being used." "Why are you doing this?" Susie asked. "What do you get out of it?" The man in black stood up and turned to face her. His features seemed to shift and change until she realized who he really was. It was Thomas, the boy who had ridden the Ferris wheel all those years ago. He had made a deal with the devil to escape his boring life, but then he had become trapped forever. Thomas looked down at the box in his hands. "I don't want this power anymore," he said. "Please, Susie, get rid of it." Susie took the box and bowed to him. "Thank you, Thomas, I won't let you down." She turned and ran as fast as she could toward the park. The townspeople were still there, enjoying their newfound freedom. Susie approached them cautiously, not wanting to scare them. "Everyone," she said, "I need your help." They looked up at her in surprise. "What is it, child?" Mr. Williams asked, "I need you to ride the Ferris wheel with me." Susie replied, "All of you." The townspeople exchanged nervous glances. "But what about our freedom?" one of them asked. "You can still be free," Susie said. "But if we don't do this now, the curse will come back and you'll be trapped here again." She looked at Thomas, who was watching them from the shadows. "Please," she whispered. The townspeople looked back at Thomas and then at each other. They knew they didn't have a choice. If they wanted to be free of the curse forever, they had to do this. They filed onto the Ferris wheel, and Susie was the last one to board it. She shut the door and the Ferris wheel began to move. As it reached the top of the first rise, the ground beneath them began to shake violently. The townspeople screamed and held on to the bars of the wheel. Susie could feel the energy building inside her. She knew this was it. Suddenly, the wheel lurched to a halt, and the lights went out. Susie fumbled for the box and dropped it into the slot. Then she closed her eyes tight. When she opened them again, she found herself in the same park with everyone else. The townspeople cheered and ran toward the gates, eager to explore their newfound freedom. Susie watched them go, a smile spreading across her face. She had done it. She had broken the curse and saved the townspeople from a lifetime of captivity. And as she walked away from the park, she knew that she would never forget her adventure at the town fair that lasts forever.